Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now in this video, we're gonna be reviewing the Jada Toys Street Fighter 2 Ultra, the Final Challengers Vega action figure. Now I'm not really a huge fan of Street Fighter, but I am a huge fan of good action figure, and so far, Jada Toys have been releasing really good action figure in this line. And as I said, I am not a huge Street Fighter fan, but if there's a specific character that I really remember when I was a kid that really stood out to me when it comes to the Street Fighter. It is Vega. I actually like the design of this character. Unfortunately, I think he's a villain, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, if he's one of the bad guys. Anyway, guys, let's first have a look at the packaging. So at the front of the box, there's this like arcade-like design of the packaging, which is really actually a pretty good idea by Jada Toys. It has this huge window wherein you can see the figure. Then at the side, you will actually see the flag and the country of origin of the character and his fighting style, which is he's from Spain, and then his fighting style is a Spanish ninjutsu. At the back shows a picture of the action figure and then the complete roster. Correct me if I'm wrong. As I said, I'm not really a huge Street Fighter fan. Uh, are all the pictures in here the complete roster? But then who is that question mark? Then the side again, a picture of most of the characters. I think these are the heroes, right? These are the heroes of Street Fighter 2. Then the bottom and at the top. So that is it for the packaging. So let us unbox this figure and see if Jada Toys did justice to this character in action figure form. This is everything out of the box, which, to be honest, at this price point, Jada Toys actually has given us enough in order to give this character two looks, which is the mask and the unmasked look, and then at the same time, the one with the blade and the one with the blade off look. And at the same time, they also provided a slash effect, which again, at this price point, Jada Toys really provided a lot. First up, out of the box, these are the default hands that are on him, which is closed fist, and the closed fist with the claw. The claw is actually connected to the fist. Then they provided us with this alternate claw hands, which I think is what he uses when with one of his move wherein he climb up on the barbed wire. Then there's this, well, his mask. I don't think he can wear this mask. I think this is like an effect part wherein if you want him without the mask and he's just holding it. Then he has his claws that is not connected to his hands, completing the look where he is like unmasked and without the claws. So the designer of Jada Toys, you can really feel that they really love action figures because they consider the fact that they gave us this mask and this claw as an accessory just to show him up without without the mask and without the claw look. I really love that. Now, if you want to put him in his mask look, there's this complete alternate head sculpt with the mask, which surprisingly, the ponytail is actually articulated. And then you can actually see the eyes through the peephole. There, you can actually see the eyes through the hole of the mask, thus completing the whole mask and claw look. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Vega has always used only one claw, right? Because I actually tried to put this other claw on him, like making him double claw, but the this plastic is kind of hard. This is hard plastic. So I think you can put it on this other hand if you really try, but I'm under the impression that that is not the whole purpose. I think the whole purpose of this is just as an accessory for him to hold when he doesn't have the claw. And again, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Vega only uses this one claw, right? It doesn't use double claws. Please leave in a comment if you know more about it, because as I said, I haven't really played Street Fighter that much. Then there's this slashing effect, which you can actually connect to the claws pretty well, like this one. Hasbro should learn with Jada on when it comes to accessories. This is how you make accessories. It should make sense, it should be very easy on putting it on them. Because that maximum Hulk, the clapping hand, up to now, I still have no idea how to put that effect on that maximum Hulk. Man, that looks really badass. Here is a complete 360-degree look of the figure. May I say, Jada Toys really knows how to do action figure. Just the proportion of the whole figure, it's perfect. They're really good in making their action figure in the correct proportion between the legs length, the arms length. I mean, yeah, this figure is perfect as far as proportion is concerned. So here's a close-up of the head sculpt of the figure as far as the mask head is concerned. I mean, just look at that. You can see the eyes through the holes of the mask. And there's also a close-up of the unmasked head sculpt, which is also good. I think it's pretty well made. Now, I was under the impression that the reason why Vega wears a mask is because there's something wrong with his face, like there's a scar or something, but I don't see that here. This is actually a very perfect face. So, again, guys, if you want to educate me about this one, doesn't Vega have a scarred face? Please leave in the comments, guys. So here's a close-up of the front of the figure. The his stash, I don't know what you call it. Basically, the belt thingy that he uses is actually made of soft goods. That is actually a cloth that is wired. It is also wired, so yeah, you can pose it any way you want, which I think is actually a pretty good idea. So that's the front of the figure. So here's a close up of the right side of the figure. I was also under the impression that Vega is left handed. I thought that his claw is actually on the left side. But yeah, maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe that's just my memory, you know, failing me already. Anyway, guys, yeah, I was just under this impression that Vega is actually left handed. And here's the left side of the figure. And finally, here is the back of the figure. Very clean finish by Jada Toys. Now, let us have a look at the articulation, which so far, based on experience, Jada Toys has never failed to deliver. Now, for the head, he can look down that far because it's both articulated on the neck and also on the head connection. So that's a pretty good range. Then he can look up that far. You can actually look back, but I think the hair will be on the way. You can actually still look higher. Yeah, but this will be on the way. This ponytail is actually articulated too. Then you can tilt on the side. You can tilt on the other side. Yeah, so pretty good articulation for the head. Now for the hands, you can do that. You can do the T pose pretty well. And then the butterfly articulation is actually amazing. I mean, just look at that. Butterfly articulation is very amazing, which is good for this character because this is a very agile character. And then bicep cut, double jointed elbow, which is also finless. I mean, just look at that range. And also, it doesn't look ugly. It has an amazing range, and then it doesn't look ugly on the elbow. Jada Toys have really mastered action figures for the very short time that they've been making action figures. Then for the arms, single peg articulation. Now he does have a bicep cut. Can do that. But surprisingly though, to be honest, I cannot rotate it. I'm not sure if it's a problem on my figure, if it's stuck, but I cannot get any rotation here. The only articulation that I get from it is that and that. The rotation, nah. So I will rely on the waist rotation then for that. So you can lean backward that far, which is actually a pretty good range. And then he can lean forward that far. McFarlane can learn from this company. That is a pretty good range. And then side to side is pretty much dependent only on the waist. So I'm not sure if there's a problem on my copy because yeah, it's really hard to rotate unless that's the articulation for this is really only for that. And there's no rotation for it because I can't rotate it. Now there's this tie cut. Then you can kick forward that far. You can kick backward that far. Again, nice idea on making this as good because it doesn't go in the way. So we can do the split pretty easy. Double jointed, double jointed knee. Well, it's kind of little stuck on my part. Okay, there. Again, amazing range, and it doesn't look ugly. Then there's articulation there. Then can do that. Can do that. Ankle rocker. Not articulation. Then you can do the bend them like that pretty well. So again, another winner when it comes to the articulation of this figure. The figure scales at around 6 3/4 inches or 17 centimeters. Now for some size comparison, here he is next to Kami. Now another thing that I like again of this Jada Toys company is that their scaling is spot on. Here he is next to DJ. Here he is next to Guile. And here he is next to Ryu. Evil Ryu in this case. Definitely another winner from Jada Toys. This figure was well constructed. I really wish that Jada Toys will be able to, get the more bigger and popular IP like Marvel or DC, but I know that that is impossible because right now I don't think Jada Toys is big enough and has the capacity to actually regularly manufacture figures because as you can see this is Street Fighter. When did they first announce this? 2 or 3 years ago, and they were just able to complete the set now because yeah, I know that they are a very small company, but again, the waiting time is actually pretty long in between their releases. But when they release a figure, it really looks good. And yeah, I think right now they should start to invest on increasing their capacity or their production volume so that they'll be able to, get bigger IPs. But I know that that will take huge investment. And if they are already satisfied on where they are right now, well, if it works, then why make it bigger, right? Anyway, I'm just really a huge fan of this company. That's why I kind of wish that they actually start producing or have the capacity to actually produce bigger IPs. Right now, I think the best wish that I can is that they actually get other fighting games titles. Me, I'm not really that much of a Street Fighter. I'm more into Tekken. So I wish they'll be able to get the Tekken IP and start producing those figures from that game. And as usual, guys, if you've reached this part of my video, thanks a lot. If you like my video, please don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe. And as usual, guys, enjoy life and keep collecting.